that the weather has to break before I do.
When will it stop? Halifax digs out again and again and again.
What's disgusting? What's disgusting?
They've taken public money and they've run, and they've left 71 hardworking Nova Scotians in the lurch.
A game designer on the defensive after pulling the plug in Halifax.
And
the message of strength and unity into African Heritage Month.
hundreds gathered to celebrate Black history and culture. This is The Signal.
Well, make it 2 straight good old Canadian winters here in Halifax.
Yup, this year has brought lots of cold and lots of snow. Jude Pepper joins us. Jude, how did the Haligonians react to 3 consecutive snowstorms?
Well, guys, most people just pulled on their boots and took it in stride. A weather expert I spoke to says the piles of snow will actually come in handy.
Halifax has been hit with blizzards every Sunday for 3 weeks straight, leaving snow piled up. Reactions to the consecutive snowstorms are mixed.
It makes everything pretty because I like snow, but at the same time, I feel like with the whole mess and we can't take the bus, it's bananas.
Just hunker down, and I'm at the point that the weather has to break before I do. That's all I can say. It's you go with it.
Last winter it was every Wednesday, and this winter it's every weekend. It seems to be having an impact on my weekly plans. This winter overall is kind of different compared to others, but it's what we expect as Maritimers.
CTV meteorologist Kayla Mitchell explains why Halifax has been hit with these conditions.
During the winter season, cold air breaks out of the north. It heads down towards the eastern seaboard. It sets up a boundary between that colder air over the continent and warmer air over the Atlantic. Those are the perfect conditions to get these type of fast-developing weather systems to develop and move northward.
Mitchell says that while the snow presents challenges, it is also essential.
One of the issues with the drought that we had this past summer is that during the winter time, we didn't actually have that big of a snowpack, so there wasn't that sort of reserve of moisture as we made our way towards the drier part of the year. So there's a definite benefit to getting the snow.
Hey Owen, do you take the bus much?
All the time. And recently I found out about a new innovation. It can make taking transit more easy and accessible. Let's check it out.
Forget bus tickets, forget phone apps. Soon, you'll be able to pay for transit in Halifax with just the tap of your debit or credit card.
It's coming, and it's coming soon.
In a recent committee meeting at City Hall, Halifax Transit presented their proposed budget for 2026-27. Council told Executive Director Robin Garris how convenient it would be to simply pay for transit with a bank card. And there's a plan for how transfers will work.
We can set the duration that tap is valid for. The subsequent taps will be considered transfers and they won't be charged again.
Council hopes the new convenience will drive ridership and lessen congestion. They anticipate the tap-and-go payment will be ready this summer.
African Heritage Month is here.
And Halifax Central Library hosted an opening night with food, speeches, and musical performances.
And Jude, this year's theme is all about unity?
That's right, guys, and out of that unity came lots of music. Take a look.
We give you thanks tonight, God. We come to you with an attitude of gratitude, Father, as we once again gather to celebrate African Heritage Month.
May the vulnerable African spirit embrace us this evening. We give in return. I pour.
African Nova Scotian communities have called this place home for more than 400 years. Their history and their strength and their resilience is not just woven into the fabric, I think it is the fabric of this place.
But as I lift my hands, I understand that I should brave into my circumstance. For my peace, oh, I dance. I just want to praise you. Come on, I just want to praise you.
Honest to goodness, I could say I felt the presence of God. You know, I like to move in the spirit a lot. I'm a Christian, so I feel like I feed off of that energy a lot. And tonight just felt powerful.
I just want to praise you.
carry the message of strength and unity into African Heritage Month and beyond. Where there are many, nothing goes wrong.
We wish you a meaningful and powerful African Heritage Month. Thank you.
In January, one of the biggest video game studios in Nova Scotia suddenly went dark. And Owen, workers who lost their job hit the street with a message.
Yes, I attended a protest at the Grand Parade in downtown Halifax. People I spoke with said they wanted to raise awareness for workers' rights in Nova Scotia.
What's disgusting? What's disgusting? What is disgusting?
Just 3 weeks after Ubisoft's Halifax studio unionized, head office shut them down. The lead programmer accuses the French company of union busting.
Today, we want to bring attention to what's going on here. We want to raise our voices and communicate not only to Ubisoft, but to our local leaders and say, hey, something fishy's going on here.
Ubisoft is a video game publisher with 6 remaining offices across Canada. They are best known for the Assassin's Creed and Just Dance franchises. But Ubisoft stock has plummeted 95% over the past 5 years, in part because some new titles have underperformed.
In a statement, Ubisoft said unionization did not influence the closure, and that it was a part of a larger cost reduction plan. But the union has filed a claim with the Nova Scotia Labour Board.
We just want to make sure that everybody's following the rules, right? Because it really looks like they aren't. And we have these laws in place for a reason. They were hard-fought, hard-won laws.
Since 2017, Ubisoft has received over $11 million in public funds through provincial tax credits. The official opposition in Nova Scotia said Ubisoft has dined and dashed.
They've taken public money and they've run, and they've left 71 hardworking Nova Scotians in the lurch. The union rights of workers are one thing, but I think also protecting the public investment that was made in Ubisoft so that the people of Nova Scotia see a return on that money.
Wozni says the closure will have an impact on gaming jobs across the province.
There's an opportunity for Nova Scotia, with all of the skill that we have in the province, to be a hub for the gaming industry, and to let these jobs walk potentially puts a dent in our ability as a province to attract these kind of workers here.
Some workers want the Ubisoft studio to reopen. Others want a better severance package. Huffman said negotiations are happening, and that he remains optimistic.
Workers' rights are under attack. What do we do?
Coming up on The Signal, we'll have the story behind all this ice-cold beauty in Dartmouth.
And
really get a good look at what it was like in the world more than 66 million years ago.
a little known fact about dinosaurs from a new local exhibit. That's later on The Signal.
A facelift for one of Halifax's oldest arenas could be on hold. Owen, the future of the Halifax Forum is up for debate again?
That's right, Ethan. The Forum redevelopment plan was set to begin this year, but City Council is thinking of pumping the brakes. The sticking point is the price tag.
The future of the Forum is in jeopardy. In a recent Budget Committee meeting, Mayor Andy Fillmore called to defer the Forum redevelopment plan. The plan was approved in 2014 and was estimated to cost $38 million. It was set to be completed in 2019. It's now tripled to an estimated $126 million. Fillmore said building a new arena elsewhere on the peninsula would be cheaper.
The cost escalation is bordering on the absurd. So we know that we can build a two-pad with locker rooms and what was described to me as a high-end two-pad arena for $40 to $45 million.
Fillmore acknowledged the heritage of the nearly 100-year-old Forum, which functions as an arena, community center, and since 2024, a homeless shelter. But he said serious concerns have led him to scrutinize the budget for unnecessary costs. Some councillors pushed back against the mayor's proposal to defer the renovations.
Well, the problem is, if you just kind of continue to spin your wheels forever on something and never ever make a decision, never actually move forward on it, that is not free. That comes at a cost too.
Austin wonders how long the Forum will last in its current state. HRM has temporarily closed the building during snowstorms, while monitoring potential buildup of snow on the roof.
Next time anyone's over there, just go up to the top of the bleachers. There's literally holes in the wall, right, where the brick is failing, right? The thing cannot take a major snowstorm.
Phil Morris said there will be a continuity plan to ensure the Halifax Peninsula always has available ice rinks. He requested more information on deferring the Forum renovation. Discussions on the arena's future will continue until the end of March.
The Forum has been home to 2 university hockey teams during its time. One of those teams was St. Mary's University. And Ethan, 2 SMU forwards are lighting up the scoreboard?
Are they ever? I caught up with a dynamic duo on the men's side who are dominating Atlantic University sport.
You can only hope to contain Reed Valad.
Here's Allison and scores! What a goal from Ben Allison! Little toe drag and a snipe to the top corner.
Nobody has scored more goals than Reed Valad and Ben Allison in men's university hockey across Canada. And they're both on the same line for the St. Mary's Huskies.
The pretty give and go between Reed Valad and Ben Allison. Not the first time we've seen that this year.
Day one we got here, I think we started building some chemistry together, and it's been pretty fun. I can speak for myself on this one, but it's been one of the most fun people that I've played with.
The pair of forwards lead the Atlantic Conference in points. They're top 3 in the category nationally. Though they're dominating now, their paths to St. Mary's were different. Allison was a Halifax kid who used to go to SMU's hockey school. He decided to pursue his education after a 5-year career in the QMJHL. Reed Valad, on the other hand, is from Ontario. He only heard about St. Mary's through a teammate on his junior team, the Kitchener Rangers.
And kind of from then, there wasn't really another spot I wanted to go to school.
Huskies head coach Tyler Nogler knew the talent the players had right away.
Absolutely, I felt both could be all-stars in this league.
Allison and Valad say their styles contrast to make a deadly duo.
I'd say this guy can skate better than anyone I've ever seen. So
I think our games complement each other really well. He likes to play with someone fast, and I've never played with anyone that's able to slow the game down like him. His patience with the puck and his hands in tight is something like I've never seen. So I'm really fortunate to play with a guy like that. And, he sees the passes before they're even there.
Cool as you like.
Nogler agrees, but he says it's their personality that has made them a great fit at SMU.
They think others, right? Like this. I'm so proud of my guys because my guys, they come in here. They're very selfless people. The amount of contributions they give back to the community, give back to our school, give to each other.
For Allison, it's his last dance. He'll have one last highlight before he finishes his Huskies career.
I've never been to a national championship. I've had some close chances, close calls to get there, but this year especially, being able to host in my hometown, I'm kind of foreshadowing it. I see it as being the biggest moment of my life so far.
You won't have much longer to catch the hometown boy and the Ontario Speedster terrorize Atlantic University defenses.
Dinosaurs have rumbled into Halifax.
Jude tells us about a new museum exhibit with a Nova Scotian twist.
The Museum of Natural History has debuted a new exhibit, Dinosaur Exploration 2, a sequel to its 2024 display.
This exhibit looks at more survival. It's horned and plated dinosaurs, and it looks at how they lived and adapted all those millions of years ago.
The exhibit includes some skeletons the museum has never hosted before, including the fan favorite Stegosaurus, defined by the plates across its spine. Also on display is a Coelophysis, a small raptor-like dinosaur that lived in Nova Scotia.
We thought in putting this exhibit together that it was important to talk a little bit about what kind of dinosaurs lived in Nova Scotia. I find working in the museum that many people are surprised to learn things about Nova Scotia in general, no matter the subject matter.
The goal of the exhibit is to inspire awe in everyone who comes to visit.
You can learn about dinosaurs. There's an unbelievable amount of information available in your pocket on your phone. You can learn everything you'd ever want to know about dinosaurs without coming to the museum. But you can't replicate standing in front of a dinosaur and seeing the size and scale of a dinosaur. The only place that you can really do that is in a museum.
For my daughter here, it's a really nice opportunity to see what dinosaurs might have looked like and certainly what their size was like without having to drive to Montreal or Boston. So it's really nice to have this here.
These dinosaurs won't go extinct until the exhibit closes September 7th.
And finally, what do E.T., a butterfly, and a beaver all have in common? There's a chance you could see all three in the form of ice sculptures. Ethan bundled up and headed out to the Ice Festival in Dartmouth.
Before he can start carving, Richard Chasson has to transport 46 pallets of ice from his hometown in New Brunswick. It's not some typical ice you can find on the street either. Chasson has to create his own clear ice through a meticulous process.
I'm the only ice producer in the 3 Atlantic provinces. So any carvings done, PI, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, it all ends up on my desk. These are special ice. Think of a river. If you cut a piece of ice on a river, it will be clear, okay? So there's no pressure, so the ice is nice and clear. So just reverse that process. I get a freezer plate underneath, no freezer units on the side, just on the bottom. Then I put a plastic bag in the mold, and I put 2 pumps so the water is circulating like a river, so the top doesn't freeze, it's just the bottom. So the plate freezer makes it freeze from the bottom up, and it takes 4 days.
The Ice Festival started in 2019 with just one carver. That was Chasson. He began carving ice when he was working at a hotel restaurant.
New Year's Eve, the chef said, "Oh, Richard, I bought a block of ice." And I said, "Yeah, okay." He says, "Well, we have our New Year's Eve bash." I said, "Yeah." He said, "It'd be nice if we have an ice carving." Oh, I said, "Who's doing it?" He said, "You are."
Thrown in the fire, Chasson did not melt. He has come to Dartmouth every year since the festival's debut. His favorite sculpture to make is anything with wings.
Well, I like the design. I like the effect it has, because ice, the more angles you have, the more it reflects the light, so it's like crystal. So if you do a smooth carving, it doesn't reflect as much as, you know, you're doing feathers, you're doing angles and angles and angles, so it reflects more.
Carvers here at the Ice Festival have full artistic control over what they create. The Downtown Dartmouth Business Commission organized the event. CEO Tim Rzecko said carvers have been inspired by the audience in the past.
One of my favorite stories was one of the carvers. He was on his 5th or 6th carving, and I think he was running out of ideas in his head, and he looked at a little girl and he said, "What would you like me to carve?" And she said, "I want a butterfly." And he goes, "You're going to get a butterfly."
Thanks for watching our final edition of The Signal for the 2026 school year.
We're at the new TV room at the University of King's College. I'm Ethan Hunt.
And I'm Owen Starling. For more news from King's, follow The Signal on YouTube or go to signalhfx.ca. Till next time.